Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Quiet Palace podcast, where great legends prevail and evil wanes to dust. I'm Fett, a professional rambler and your glorious host. Allow me to regale you with another dramatic prologue to start things off. In the midst of a reckless, drawn-out duel between mages, arcane fire crackles amidst the cold sand before the crack of dawn, and sparks of lightning coat the horizon through a perspective of distant onlookers. Before a bolt of lightning can tear into its quarry, a mage in blue robes pulls out a scroll and releases unforeseen power along the battlefield. A mage in red attempts to throw himself away from his incoming doom, pelted by various items that would add up to someone's belongings. Among the debris, a mirror in a sturdy wooden frame. As the blue mage shouts the scroll's triggering phrase, a devastating beam of radiant energy pierces through the desert itself, leaving the area as scorched remnants of sand lined with radiant flame. In the end, the red mage lies dead, and the blue mage has vanished alongside a flash of light their spell created. In a strange and eerily silent world, the blue mage awakens in a strange and unfamiliar place. A corridor to the left and right stretching outwards as far as the eye can see, with indents in the walls filled with large mirrors that peer outwards into various rooms and expanses. As the mage attempts to make sense of it all, he wanders around to see mirrors that peer into realms of fire, endless oceans, and clouds with an infinite horizon of royal blues and radiant yellows, alongside the changing room of a noble and the inside of a merchant caravan. One mirror points back into the heat-soaked desert this now distraught mage seemed to emerge from. A mirror that matches the same one that fell during the flashy but deadly mage encounter. Trapped in a strange and unfamiliar plane of existence, the spellcaster holds his head in disbelief, unable to accept his sudden change in surroundings as reality. He is convinced for longer than he himself would care to admit that this is the result of an illusion spell. Perhaps a banishment. Perhaps his weaving of words was incorrect, or it could be that the mage did not fulfill the spell's requirement for material components. He knows not if the words were right, for the scroll's but ash after its use. He knows not if the components were enough, for they have vanished alongside the scroll in battle. In the distance, for a brief few moments, the echo of breaking glass booms throughout the hallway before the realm returns to silence. He shouts aloud, cursing his folly, and spends countless hours wandering and becoming more frantic as time goes by. It feels like it's been an eternity. He witnesses translucent humanoids, both big and small, gazing into mirrors, attempting to understand themselves as they watch others through the portals, until the mage hears a voice behind him. He turns around to see a spitting image of himself looking onward with fire in their eyes and vengeance in their heart. Their voice filled with absolution as they speak. I know you, Malcolman. You would kill the world's greatest mages, and for what? Glory? To take away the gift of the gods from its people. It is I who shall return to the waking world, to set things right. Welcome back. What this mage does not know, however, is that casting this unknown and peculiar spell at a reflective or transparent surface might make you susceptible to crossing over and into the plane of mirrors. If you've never heard of such a place, that would make sense. Most adventurers will never see anything quite like it. The plane of mirrors is a secret plane that serves as a world of gates that connects this plane to almost all others via the means of windows and mirrors established across the realm. This plane is a finite space that takes the shape of a long hallway with indents every 40 to 240 feet. These indents contain mirrors that can act as portals for those with the magic and skill to utilize them. Otherwise, they simply display what is on the other side. It is theorized by those who know of this mysterious location that mirrors and windows hold a strange magic to them. This theory states that mirrors do not reflect images based on the influence of light, but instead, they show us a coexisting reality. I do not believe there is explicitly a spell in the D&D material that allows you explicit travel to the plane of mirrors. However, it is known that there is indeed a spell meant for doing so. Though this spell, rest assured, would be heavily guarded or secreted away to avoid disasters that could unfold with such a delicate manifestation. If I'm not mistaken, this spell would be referred to as mirror walking. It would be within the realms of a 3rd or 4th level spell in terms of power. You might ask me, Bet, why is such an important spell only 3rd or 4th level? Plane Shift is a 7th level conjuration spell that lets you travel to other planes. You can go to any plane you specify in general terms, or to teleportation circles that you know of. With the use of the secreted mirror walking spell, you can reach the plane of mirrors to discover various entryways and perhaps specific locations that might hold an advantageous circumstance. From what I gather, you won't require a second casting of mirror walking to exit through the desired portal, which is exactly why our blue mage from our little intro has pretty much no way out. Sad to say, his circumstances were accidental. Mirror walking is not the spell used, rather the energy put into the mirror had reflected back at the caster, causing a temporary rift to open. It's a spell that can be cast at a much lower level than 7th and offers a unique approach to interdimensional travel. However, there are risks to the plane itself, its knowledge, and the potential discovery from other forces that may use it for nefarious purposes. If it were not secreted knowledge kept by the brightest and most remote sages within all the realms, it could lead to the realm's destruction or corruption, being a catalyst for various catastrophes to strike. You are invisible to the people who are looking at the mirror from the other side, meaning you cannot be perceived in the plane of mirrors as part of the image projected to the mirror's owner. Spy work would become practically effortless if you learned to navigate this place. The accessibility of various things, information, people, different locations. If there's a mirror anywhere close to it, there's probably a way to find it that's going to be quicker than actually getting there if you don't have access to plane shift. That is, of course, if you would be able to survive the plane of mirrors once you arrive. Once you emerge, an alternate version of yourself, a mirror version, will manifest. It's the opposite alignment, favors the opposite hand, and holds all of your memories up to a point of entering the mirror plane. What they happen to exclude from most records, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that the mirror version of you also knows exactly where you are, and is only able to exit the plane of mirrors once it has killed you. What the reflection does with that information is up to them, I suppose, but there's a high chance it's not going to be lollipops and rainbows. If you're a neutral, ambidextrous individual entering the plane of mirrors, it's seemingly confirmed that your mirror version would also be neutral and ambidextrous. Having either of these properties will be reflected in your mirror version as well. This plane shares borders with all realms that bear suitable mirrors, most of all the material plane. Despite the fact that no mirrors can directly lead into the ethereal plane, the ethereal is indeed accessible via the space between each mirror. We were half talking about inhabitants of the mirror realm a moment ago, one of those which would be the mirror mephits. If you're unaware of what mephits are, they are imp-like creatures from various different realms whose composition is heavily influenced by their plane of origin. Dust mephits, fire mephits, and grease mephits are a couple of good examples to carry that point across. Mirror mephits are black-eyed mephits with a fully reflective body. They are attracted to shiny objects, engaged often in the spectacles of reflection, and often pose to act out what it witnesses through the time it spends in the plane of mirrors. All native inhabitants, including mirror mephits, are truly neutral, to a point. Mirror mephits share a common trait among all other mephits: impressionability. Most often they will adapt their behavior for those they spy on, or perhaps are summoned by, more often than not becoming wicked and sadistic. If one can attach a mirror to a belonging of the mephit and allow it to witness their actions, they could potentially gain a similarly aligned ally to conjure when the moment calls for it. Because of their knack for action, they make pretty good spies. There happens to be a bronze dragon here by the name of Nimur, who ended up in the plane of mirrors after an unavoidable chaotic event known as a Draco Rage, a magically created impulse to destroy all in an affected dragon's path. We won't really be covering that today, though. This teleportation was entirely accidental, but since then, he has remained in this odd realm to study a certain species of inhabitants in this fine little plane of endless opportunities. Not the mirror mephits, though. No. The Nera. Humanoids with mirror-like skin and varying morals, always attempting to have a neutral outlook. However, they feel superior to all they've witnessed in the mirrors of their home. The Nera come in various shapes and sizes, with subcategories for their lineage. Varuts are more slender, Kalarim are larger and bulkier. The Kalarim and Varuts share indistinct facial features, while the Silites were slender with smooth faces, and the only subrace to wear clothing, typically robes of fine, shiny black silk. They fought with spells and weapons. Silites were natural mages, but all Nera could wield special weapons made of the substance of their home plane. I personally imagine that pieces of broken mirrors forever gone are the source, but if so, that would be a really bad thing. But maybe both worlds and mirrors are destroyed more often than we think. Speaking of mirrors that are gone, what happens to a mirror when it's smashed? All that are currently in the plane of mirrors hear that break, and that portal is no longer accessible. Both mirrors are destroyed as a result. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. It's good to keep in mind that the plane of mirrors is a somewhat neutrally aligned plane. Energy from the positive energy plane soars through the realm, repairing its mirrors and healing all who are not necrotic in nature or composed of negative energy. Because of this, however, magic and spells that rely on the ethereal, the Shadowfell, or the negative energy planes will always fail here, and cannot be casted due to the total lack of the influence from such dimensions. This alignment trait does not apply to mirrors, however, which is a definite reason this plane only leans neutral. Groups of mirrors that lead into the Hells, the Abyss, or even to Mount Celestia or the Beastlands do exist, and so alignment isn't as solid and fixed as you might initially believe. All mirrors found here are found in clusters. That is to say that mirrors have some sort of connection with each other. They were made by the same person, owned by the same person, or bear the materials all used from the same source. However that relative criteria is met, it forms together in a group of mirrors that could be quite closer or incredibly far apart. That persists beyond just one plane of existence, meaning a cluster found in a hallway could lead to multiple areas in a wizard's castle, then certain areas in other planes beyond the wizard's home plane. However, if you were in this plane of existence while an entire constellation of mirrors was smashed, the plane of mirrors becomes your new home. Your new fate is sealed. If any one of these mirror constellations are destroyed, all currently within the plane of mirrors becomes trapped there, indefinitely. As for its total differences to the prime material plane, time and gravity function the same, but the hallways only extend so far. This is limited space we're working with. As I mentioned before, magic from the ethereal realm, the Shadowfell, or the plane of negative energy will not manifest here. But other than that, this place almost feels like an extension of the material plane. A D&D version of the backrooms in some ways. Still fairly dangerous, however. Food is scarce because the only people who need to eat are mirror walkers and the unfortunate. Though it can be found here. Being trapped here spells a slow, imminent demise at worst and a quick and bloody one at best. Because of such dangers this realm bears within, it's not for the faint of heart to meddle with. If you DM a game where the party ends up here, I am hoping that they are ready to fight themselves and anything else that wants to take them down on their way through. The benefits outweigh the dangers, personally speaking, but should you be able to fight or outrun yourselves, you will have what is arguably one of the best secret weapons in all of the Forgotten Realms. Well, that was the Plane of Mirrors, everyone. If there's anything important I've missed, please don't be afraid to let me know. On the list of obscure D&D information, I found this dimension wasn't really covered. If anyone wants an example of how the Plane of Mirrors could be run in your adventure, I'd be glad to do an episode on it. Trust me, I understand completely why most don't consider this place as a potential destination. It's risky being here. Ideally you want to be quick in this place, but who's to say it gets to be a quick jaunt? You kinda just have to hope that luck is on your side and that you can find the mirror you're looking for. The Plane of Mirrors is perhaps a neat way to reflect my last year on YouTube. It's been about a year or so since I started that journey. I'm proud of the progress I've made so far. We're just chilling with a little YouTube project. What else can I say? Baldur's Gate gave us a lot to think about throughout the last piece of 2023. And with one D&D on the rise and many possibilities afoot, who knows what will come? All I can really promise you is that I aim to be there. I'm going to keep making stuff, try my best to be a decent host for everyone, and keep finding ways to bring this floating table the stuff you want to hear. But until next time, everyone, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. If the sky is gray and the breeze is gentle, the quiet palace shall be nearby.